Yeah. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have one more guest who is called as Vaibhav Joshi, and I am glad to interview him today. He is working in Bugcrowd right now as a security engineer. So, Vaibhav, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi everyone, I'm currently working as application security engineer in Bugcrowd, in the triage and validation team. So the day-to-day work is mostly triaging the reports or submissions that are shared by researchers throughout the world. In all the programs that are managed by Bugcrowd, I have somewhere around 5 years of experience in cybersecurity and worked with different teams, including consulting, internal security teams, as well as my current role is a manager. Uh, Other than that, I'm also active in the community, posting up blogs, exploits. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much all.
Thank you, Vaibhav. Thanks for introducing yourself. I know that you have recently attended a conference in Goa.
So,
Can you tell me the name of the conference and
uh,
can you tell me some key takeaways from that?
sure. I think it's the first chapter for Bsides Goa. I think we all know about the Nalcon that used to happen in Goa.
Yeah,
Last year was the last chapter for Nalcon. After that, Besides team started their new chapter, and I think it was really good management and everything. There are a lot of good talks, good trainings. If we talk about key takeaways, as we all know that AI is really hyped up right now. There are a lot of discussions related to AI on how will it impact what we can say the engineering space, as well as how it will impact our specific cybersecurity. So the conclusion is mostly like even if we talk about AI, like there are phases of things. For example, prior before a few years, there are different things which are hyped up, and people used to say that okay, this will take over the world and this will do this will that. But I think these are just the tools that we can use to make ourselves better and do our work more efficiently rather than replacing someone. I think what we can say, uh, if someone don't want to work on themselves, then only something can replace them. But other than that, I think these are just the tools that we can use to make ourselves better and work more efficiently. Uh, so there were a lot of what we can say camps related to facial recognitions through AI, multiple different things like what we can say facial recognition things, resume recognition things. So there were a lot of startups as well. And I think the really good thing about B-Sides that happened this year, there was a job fair. So, like for example, if there are companies that are hiring and they want to do a in-person interview,
hmm.
so like there were booths for job fair as well.
Okay.
Candidates can go there and they can interview with the company, walk in interview. So I think that was really good as a lot of new people are coming into cybersecurity space,
Hmm.
and they like not everyone can get the guidance that they want. So like going to the community fairs and being a part of the community, I think it's really necessary in our what we can say space.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Actually, I would love to know how did you get hired in Buckroad? What was the initial discussion? How many rounds you cleared? Just interview process plus how did you get hired?
Okay, so about the interview process, there are typically 3 rounds of interviews. The first one is screening with the HR. So they usually just get in touch with you. They have some points of checklist that they want to check off. Uh, uh, even if we have the data in our resume, I think it's really necessary to understand. So I think that round was mostly for company to understand the candidate as well as for the candidate to understand the company.
Okay.
What are their values and so for example, what are your values?
Hmm.
What do you value the most? There could be work-life balance. There could be more opportunities that you want. So everyone don't want the same thing, and I think it's really necessary to have that particular round. So that's mostly a screening round. Post that, I had the round with the team lead that I'm working currently under. So that was the technical round where there are a few technical questions related to application security, some questions related to mobile application security. And I think the one change from other interviews in the security engineering role was to understand how a person reacts on the report. So they tend to mention, for example, this kind of report. The researcher has mentioned all these details. How would you, what we can say, how would you try this particular report, and what would be your response to the researcher? How will you communicate these things to customer? So I think that was the only technical round. Post that, there's a round with the manager that's situated in Australia. So that's mostly again to understand the kind of person, and basically we can say that that's an intro call.
Hmm.
And after the technical round, it's pretty much clear. The final round is mostly, we can say, it's a managerial round where high level things are discussed. Post that, I think it takes a few days, and then you will get a response from the HR team.
Okay. So after getting hired, right now you are working, right? What are
Yeah.
your day-to-day activities? What you need to do?
So day-to-day activities include entirely of writing the reports, looking at the submissions shared by researchers. Uh, so initially, the researcher reports anything. For example, there could be ITOR that the researcher is reported.
Hmm.
So we need to replicate and validate if the submission is really reproducible. If it is not, then we tend to get more details from the researcher. We also try to identify about the impact as much as possible before sharing with the customer, so that it's better for customer team as well to understand on what exactly is it and how is it impacting them. So initially we tend to reproduce the report. Also, we have a system to check if the report is already reported in our system, or if there are there are also checks performed so that there could be some similar submission. The customer has already given their statement that this is something that's not impacting us, or this is something that's acceptable to us. So validating all those things, identifying the impact, reproducing the submission, then we share all these details with the customer, and then if the customer has any troubles reproducing the submission, or trouble understanding the submission or its impact, we tend to have the discussion in the portal itself. After that, it's pretty much all from the Bugcrowd side, and the customer manages finally patching and all those things, or also giving the bounty to the research. And once everything is done and they have passed the submission, then they can request a retest from Bugcrowd, and we can provide them details if it is still reproducible or if it is passed, and the final status can be updated accordingly.
Okay. That is good to know what is happening once we report the issues. Thanks for sharing those details. So, how big is the security team in Bugcrowd? Aman?
It's really diverse. So, it's divided into multiple regions. There are people in India, Middle East, in Asia Pacific regions other than India. Then there's a separate team for Europe. There's a separate team for USA. There's a separate team for Australia. So I think the team is very diverse, and there are a lot of people. So Yeah, I think right now the team is enough to handle the kind of submissions that we are getting on a regular basis.
So I would like to ask you a few things from your bug bounty journey. So the very first one is, how would you select your target? Because there are a lot of listings from the platforms, like if you see in HackerOne or if you see in Bugcrowd, there are lot of listings, lot of companies are offering bounties. Out of them, how will you choose your particular target? How will you start your pen test by choosing that? Is there any method that you follow in order to choose your initial target to test?
Sure. So I think it's more related to a person who is newly coming into the county space. I think it's really confusing even to choose not the program but the platform.
Hmm.
So there are different platforms. We have like they have the different methods.
Hmm.
There are a lot of differences in how the team functions as well. So I think for a new person that is coming to bug bounty space, I think the first thing that I would recommend is not to look for an easy target. For example, if someone new is coming, then they tend to go towards something, a new program or a program which has a very limited scope.
Hmm.
I think that really impacts what we can say the confidence of the person. I would recommend getting into a program that has a very diverse scope, uh, as well as like a reputed program. For example, if you talk about Bugcrowd, so in a diverse form, there's private program. I mean the public program for Tesla. There's a public program for Mastercard. So why it's necessary is like once you go and start researching. So first you will get over the fear that this is a big program. There are a lot of researchers, and this I won't be able to find something here because
Hmm.
this will be secure. So as we say in security space, there is nothing secure.
Hmm. Okay.
There are still a lot of things that are not discovered yet,
Hmm.
and if you are able to find a submission, even if a very small one, into Mastercard or Tesla related programs, then it really builds up your confidence in bug bounty space. So you will be able to kind of research more confidently post that. Uh, Also, the scope is very diverse. So you will start to do a lot of things. So for example, if you are restricted by scope, there are a lot of things that you will never get to know, which
Hmm.
could be recon, which could be like how you enumerate a particular target. There are a lot of things. I think there is a what we can say bug bounty methodology by Jason Hedges. That was really great for anyone who's trying to start bug bounty.
Okay.
I started my journey from there. There itself. Also, I think if someone new is coming to bug bounty space, the first thing that I would recommend is not looking for low hanging fruits because, like, uh, uh, if you are trying to just look for smaller things like cookie related flags and all those, you will find those like in multiple places, but that won't really help you in improving yourself as a bug
Hmm.
bounty hunter or like a security professional because that's not something that you would need to do very high research kind of go into. I think I would recommend them to select a target, start the recon, get used to the target, start to see how exactly the application is functioning, what is the business behind the application, so that they are able to understand how the application works, and then deep dive into specific functionality related issues because company tend to pay more for that rather than small technical issues. As well as what I have noticed is if a new person is coming to bug bounty space, what they'll do is they'll submit one bug or two bugs and then they'll wait for someone to respond on that bugs. That would mostly, I think, they initially, if you're submitting, that could be a duplicate, that could be a P5 for information that we see. that could be an informational bug or already reported, because as you're already starting, you are reporting common things, right? So if you wait for a response on that particular report, and the response is not very great, you will feel demotivated. What I would recommend for someone who is starting, just do your research, submit a bug, and leave it at that point of time until you are asked for more details, and then you can go back to your target, start again your bug bounty, and start to find new things so that you can keep reporting things. You will not feel demotivated.
See, right now you are security engineer in Bugcrowd, so you have seen lot of reports daily, and you are reproducing them. That is one side of the part, and another side, as a bug bounty hunter, you are reporting lot of vulnerabilities. So, out of these two experience, from your journey, what is the most common vulnerability that you have seen in most of the web apps?
So if we talk about commonly reported, I think the most common reports are related to IDOR or cross-site scripting. Uh, those are most common in the web applications because, if the company is managing permissions on API level, so there are multiple times when a particular API does not have proper permission sets implemented. Uh, as well as there are a lot of things that get missed. So I think the most common thing that we get is IDOR, or what we can say privilege escalation, permission related things, as well as I think cross-site scripting is also really common. Yeah. And
Okay.
if we talk about recent times, I think cache deception attack, that's really getting what we can say the stage right now. So I think that is something to look at, because currently the companies have already have multiple layers of security for what we can say input validation,
Hmm.
like cross-site scripting and everything. As well as for IDOR, I think they have like SSO implemented, then like OpenID. There are multiple things, but still, I think the server related things are getting screened right now. And the most common thing is cache deception, where like the attacker is either able to steal something sensitive or perform a denial of service on the server, as well as what we can say, performing cross-site scripting for cache deception attack. So I think that is the root cause for it. It's like we are starting to see a lot of reports related to that.
Okay. In which year you have started your bug bounty journey, man?
So I started with bug bounty in 2018. Uh, I worked for a few years in bug bounty,
Hmm.
but I was really not very intrigued with kind of bug bounty. So I think I did bug bounty from 2018 to 2020. Post that, I was more inclined to learning new things and doing my own research, and like being very active in bug bounty hunting.
Your journey,
Uh,
how many days it took you to identify the first bug and to get the first bounty?
so these are two different items. So the first valid bug that got accepted was, I think it took somewhere around 1 month,
Okay.
uh, but it got duplicated.
Oh.
So that was a subdomain takeover. Those
Hmm.
are like very common things that we see.
Hmm.
And to get my first bounty, it took somewhere around 6 months. When I received my first bounty, that was also a really small amount. It was, I think, $125,
Okay.
which was I think for like information disclosure thing. Uh, and post that, I think in 2019, I moved on to Synac. I started hunting on Synac and doing. So there are things like challenges, not challenges. There are things like missions on Synac. Those are also different things. So that also helped in adding up the amount. But yeah, I think Synac was also a really good platform. So I left Synac in when I stopped doing Bugcrowd itself in 2020. But yeah, I think Snake is also a really good platform to hunt. If, but for being a part of Snake, you need to go through an entire interview process and screening process. That's like a private, what we can say, private platform.
Okay. Yeah. So, out of your journey, do you have any favorite security tool?
Uh, I think we all use bugs. That that's mostly it. In my arsenal, if I talk about actual tools that we use, I tend to write my own tools, and also what we can say. I try to, for example, if I'm using multiple open source tools, I try to create a single tool that can do all that work. So I try to automate as much work as I can. Uh, this could be recon, this could be like checking some common things. Nuclei is really good tool. So if you could work on creating your own nuclei templates, integrating nuclei with other tools. So yeah, I think the first tool is Bugcrowd and the second one is your own programming knowledge.
Hmm.
That could be I currently prefer Python. I'm moving to Go. But for right now, I think any one of it works really well. If you want to create your own tools or understand other open source tools and modify them according to your needs. Uh, I think that's really the requirement right now. If we talk about different aspects, for example, there could be mobile application, there could be client application. Then it varies. But if we are like talking about applications, I think Bugcrowd and your knowledge on
Hmm.
scripting that really helps, and that's mostly it that you need to get to start off with Bugcrowd.
Vulnerability, did you find any unexpected vulnerability so far in your journey? Uh, which feels you strange? Why this application is having this kind of vulnerability? Such kind of any incident?
Uh, I think there are a few informational disclosure things. So, like, I might, like, I know the reason there are mistakes from the developers that, so for example, there was an application that I was testing. It had a feature of a specific coupon code that you can only get once you refer three people to the application and they join the application. But when you go on the API level, all the data and the coupons they tend to respond. They tend to be visible in the response text itself. So
Okay.
I think these are some common mistakes that are found in a lot of applications.
Hmm.
Uh, Other things could be so there was one application that was for a personal pen test project that I was doing. Uh, the application was what I can say uh, not sending the password on the server itself.
Hmm.
The password validation was occurring on local space. So it kind of creates a question in the mind that these are very basic things that the engineering team don't even need the security team to manage. Like developers already know that it's really not a good thing to store password locally in the browser or to validate password locally. But these things happen a lot more than we can think. We think that these things are not like these things are ended, but even after that, these things happen. And even like the common SAS and SC tools tend to not detect these things. Other than this particular thing, uh, so password reset functionality. So there was one instance that I found. So they were using if we see the link directly, it seems that the token was really difficult, but it was just a combination of your email and your password,
Hmm.
uh, which is being shared, like encrypted in SHA-256, and then that's the token. So I think these are common things that shouldn't be there. third one I have identified in the white box application. But yeah, I think these are really common things that we find a lot, and it raises a question that why these particular things are still happening.
Okay. Thanks a lot for your time, Vaibhav.
Hi everyone, I think I've also seen your content on YouTube, and I think it's really helpful for someone who's in cybersecurity space. So yeah, I think a subscribe would be great to get the channel going, as well as for any new content that comes. That could be helpful even if you are new, or even if you are like already in the cybersecurity space.
Yep. Thank you so much, Vaibhav.
Thank you.